I thought it was game over after Dak Prescott found CeeDee Lamb for the 35-yard TD. He had some beautiful touch throws to Lamb after I had a star down for Dak in the first half. 28-14 after the Lamb touchdown. That was in the third quarter. And then on 4th and 7, Christian Watson responds. He's the guy that you saw yesterday on the TV broadcast over and over again, drop that first ball against Minnesota.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was the guy that you saw the TV broadcast running away from the DBs.
over and over
and over again. Yeah, I saw that too.
We couldn't just go ahead, try to put digs on him. That wasn't a strategy. He was running wide open. He torched your boy Anthony Brown, who left for the mysterious concussion. He could have gotten Brown and others earlier in the game. He had that drop, big drop for him in this one like he had in the opener against the Vikings. But then he caught the 39-yard touchdown on 4th and 7. That made it 28-21. We were getting a little uneasy. And then he had his third touchdown with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. And you're like, okay, Aaron Rodgers is going to get him again.
Yeah, I mean, they just kept going to the well, and it kept working. It kept working. I mean, I don't know what was going on defensively. They were just leaving these guys out on an island too much, or bad communication. I mean, it seems like bad communication was the story of the day.
Yeah.
Both sides of the football.
That's my issue, man. I do care, but for now, forget about whose fault it was. Was it Dalton Schultz on the first pick? Was it CeeDee Lamb on the second? Why are these things continuing to happen? Dak Prescott has played with CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz for a long time by NFL measures. Right? Why are these things happening in terms of the miscommunications? Is it a lack of toughness on CeeDee's part that he didn't want to flatten out his route and go over the middle? As Greg Olsen said, that was his fault. The playmaker Michael Irvin jumping on Twitter and saying that was CeeDee Lamb's fault. Why are Schultz and Lamb running to... Look, I know it's Peyton Manning, and I'm sure it did happen. We weren't watching every play of every Colts game like we do the Cowboys, but you just felt like everything was synchronized. Everyone was going to know their assignments. They were going to know what to do. You're going to have mishaps, but that was my biggest question. I'm like, why are these things happening to this high frequency with the amount of time that these three and this offense has played together? They're not brand new.
No, they're not brand new. I don't know that the interception of Lamb, I don't know if that was bad communication necessarily. The communication was there. CeeDee knew what he had to do. He just didn't do it. I don't know that I would.
Well, he went upfield. Why did he go upfield versus cut it across? Let's hear from Dak with the explanation for the picks that led to 14 points after the game.
Yeah, I'd say definitely miscommunication. First one was to Schultz. Just he said he got knocked off his route in a sense, thinking he was going to cross face. They make a play. That's a huge play right there for us to go up 14. They stop us, so obviously get the turnover, and then they go score. And then, the second one, they score off of that one as well. And that one's just miscommunication, similar to the one last week, honestly, just thinking he's going to cross face, him saying something different, just making sure we get on the same page, and we're able to hit something very similar later in overtime.
Here's what Playmaker said real quick. That's on my guy, 88. If the center of the field is close, then 88 has to flatten that route across the safety's face. If it's cover two or split safeties, then you go up the field like Lamb did. That interception also, it's on the receiver, not Dak, just trying to help everyone understand.
I wonder if that's Dak helping out his, covering for his guy. You know what I mean? Instead of doing the, laying him out and saying, yeah, he's got to be there. He's got to cross the face of the player.
Yeah, Dak's not going to do that.
And Dak's not going to do that. Sometimes you get a guy say, they'll use the buzzword, miscommunication. Well, just say what it was. He chickened out. He didn't want to go across the face. I mean, just do that. No. That's fine. It's football. That happens, right? It's human nature. It's going to happen on every team, in every game at some point, really. It's going to happen. Whether or not you get the interception off of it is a different story.
Here's Mike McCarthy on the two turnovers that we're all trying to figure out.
Well, the first one is that plays that's kind of on the fringe of where you call it. So the point is that based on the way we're supposed to do it, it's a tighter window to get across, And Dak has to throw that with anticipation. So that's what happened on the first one. And the second one is another adjustment. It's 22 replaces the name of the coverage you called it. And so with them coming down it's a 2-shell that really plays like a 3-shell. So there's route. It's a route adjustment and timing. Combination route adjustment and timing.
Tolo's coming in, and I like the point. We can't have it both ways. The big knock on Dak is not throwing with anticipation, not throwing guys open, and then when he throws it, he has to trust the receiver's going to be there, and when they're not, it can't be Dak's fault. So that's a message on the truckwreck.com text line. We can't have it both ways, not wanting him to wait for someone to get wide open. You have to throw with anticipation in the NFL.
You can't wait till somebody's wide open. The guys aren't wide open in the NFL. That's a high school thing. You wait. It's like you throw the ball after the break, after the cut in high school, or you throw when they're open, and then in college you throw at the cut, and then in the NFL you throw before the break. That's just kind of how it works. You got to make these anticipatory throws, which I hate that word, anticipatory. I don't like it. But
I've been using like a couple fancier words lately. I think you said linear earlier. Linear thinking, maybe. Binary.
Binary
thinking.
Yeah, well, it's binary world we live in. It's black and white.
Star down Dak in the first half, in my opinion. 16-25 for 113, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. The rating was a 67.6. That's his QB rating, not the QBR. He finished 27-46 for 265, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. The QBR was a 44.7. And RJ, not only do we have to take it on the chin for picking the Cowboys to win, not really being too worried about this game, our formula take looks bad this morning, because that felt like a game in which they shouldn't have thrown it 46 times, and we want the Cowboys to win or lose throwing in a throwing league. Dak with 46 attempts on the ground. They ran it for 160 yards, 5.1 a carry. So our formula take taking a knock today.
Is it, though?
How would I not?
Did they not put up the second most points of the game in a game this year? That's the formula, right? We want them to score. If they did this formula and they scored 17, then yes, absolutely, right? But they put up 28 points. The only time they put up more than that was against Chicago. That was right before the bye. I mean, they put up 28 points. I'm not going to sit here and say that's the wrong formula. Yesterday was not about the offense, and they should have put up more. Had there not been, wide receiver miscommunication, they would have put up 35, 42.
So how do you grade Dak's game overall? Or
I don't think Dak was tremendously effective. His yards per attempt was so low, man.
I think it's 5 point something.
It's terrible. That's terrible.
He just brought a set in the post. He's just really inconsistent. That's it. I mean, only these psychopath Dak heads, the inserdaconists would sit there and fight this. I can come up with something better than that.
Hang on, I'm gonna need a minute. What?
The lunatic nut jobs would sit there. They want CeeDee Lamb to never play again. CeeDee Lamb should be benched. It doesn't matter what CeeDee does for the rest of the game. But you just don't know what Dak you're going to get. He can be brilliant.
Yeah.
And he can be really, really inconsistent. You just don't know which one you're going to get. That's the reality of the Cowboys quarterbacking situation.
Yeah, look, as a fantastic breakdown, the formula was fine. The QB wasn't good enough. And yeah, it's probably true. He probably wasn't good enough.
Formula, then that shouldn't be the formula, right? If you don't know if the QB's good enough. I like your point. They scored 28 points.
Yeah, they scored 28, and they probably should. And,
I like your point because it saves us.
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, they scored 28, and they had an interception in the end zone, which would have meant they would have scored 35. Or at the least 31. If he doesn't throw that interception in the end zone. So I'm not going to kill the formula. I thought the formula was fine. But, Dak, for me, you got to start down. He was good-ish at times. That throw to Lamb, that was a great throw, that touchdown pass. That was a really good route, really good throw.
Yeah.
So he made plays.
And Cooper Rush was trending yesterday during the game.
Oh, simmer down. Cooper Rush couldn't score 28 with a fistful of 50s.
And Sean Payton was trending afterwards. So, very extreme reactions during and after this one.
Sean Payton should be trending, because if you wanted Mike to kick the field goal, Sean Payton's your guy. Because he went for it on fourth down at a lower rate than Jason Garrett did. So,
Did he?
yes, he is not some riverboat gambler.
God, and how soft is Jason Garrett? In the post game last night, or the pregame, whatever, halftime on NBC, he wouldn't give an answer. Like, your job is to give an answer on what you would do in that situation. And it's like, well, I'm sure they factored this in, and I'm sure they factored that in. No S, robot. Of course they factored that in. What would you do? Just give a strong opinion and answer. Jay Jeezy. Who else is on your star up, star down list at 877-881-1053? As we should point out, CeeDee Lamb did respond, 11 for 150, 2 touchdowns, and he did have a big catch over the middle for those questioning the toughness in overtime.
Man, how about, I will say the pass rush is on my star down list. Just 2 quarterback hits, 2 sacks. That's fine. Like, the 2 sacks is a fine number, but it just did not seem like they had any pressure at all in this game. Comparatively speaking to what they have been doing in recent games, this team has been able to get to the quarterback, and even if they don't sack him, they've been at least touching him, putting him on the ground, and they just didn't do it enough.